Batman's going to put on the suit for the first time in forever.
There'll be music, there'll be lights.
They don't show panels of this, but I'm getting that he's ordered his stuff. He probably did some sewing work because,
Not off Amazon?
Why would you? You don't want people to know.
Yeah, it'd be traced.
There's no way Batman didn't sew at some point.
Sure.
Nobody talks about that, but it happened. So Batman's sewing, and that's what he did for that month.
Yeah. Is there like an Edna mode in the DC universe?
I don't know what that is.
Edna mode. The Incredibles? Are you kidding me?
Oh, the suit maker?
Yeah.
No.
Really?
Not that I know of.
There's one for villains in Marvel.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So it's 1 month later.
Mm-hmm.
He puts on the suit. That's what's going to happen here.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get to that, we're going to go to Gordon.
Man, you're striking this long. You got me going.
Ding, ding, ding.
You got my blood boiling.
I'm done with doing coming ups, which were in the Thor videos. So I'm trying to just get them all hooked right away.
Okay.
So here we go. He's got the suit on, right? Too bad. We're going to Gordon. So Gordon is there. Gordon is racing to an active crime scene.
Mm-hmm.
The active crime scene being a Arkham Asylum convict has escaped, is holding children hostage, gun to their head. Young, 5 or 6.
I don't like that. That bothers me. And by the way, Arkham Asylum only for nutcases, not just like a...
Yeah, that's Blackgate.
Is the prison type thing. Got it, yeah.
Yeah, so Arkham Asylum is where all the crazies go.
Yeah.
So, escape guy, he's racing there, and there's a reason he's racing there. It's because they're going to send in the SWAT team.
Why is that bad to send in the SWAT team?
Because in Gotham, the SWAT team is essentially just a bunch of trigger-happy guys. It's an army. It's just oafs. Gordon makes the comment as he's racing there, like, he goes... I think the guy's name is Merkel. Can't remember for sure. But he's like, last time Merkel and his goons, settled down a riot, calmed down a riot, they didn't even leave the statues standing.
Jeez.
So them calming down is just mowing down people.
Sure. So he's afraid that the kids will get hurt.
Exactly.
What a guy.
He arrives in the nick of time, and you get the idea that everybody's just kind of scared of him. They're like, oh crap, Gordon's here. And he's like...
He's gotten his shtick so far.
Yeah. It's April now, I think. So he's been there for 4 months. He's got a name for himself.
Yeah. So what Batman is trying to do, Jim Gordon has kind of already done. Kind of got the fear factor into the police at least, right? Yeah.
Yes. They know he's on the straight and narrow.
Yeah.
Anyway, the guy's like, we don't need you. Get out of here, Gordon, the SWAT team guy. And he's just like, go fight a war somewhere else. And we go to the crazy guy who's just saying nonsense words. Just nonsense words. He's being like, defibrillator, no lunch, toaster oven, Terry Crews. Just nonsense. Just total nonsense.
Sure.
And he's like, okay. And Gordon takes out, as he's got this gun, and he's like, he takes out his gun, shows him, and drops it.
Okay.
I'm coming up.
Trust factor kind of thing.
Yeah, to this crazy. And he even kind of thinks to himself, I don't let them being the cops behind him, of which there are dozens, see my knees wobble. He's terrified.
Oh yeah, it's gotta be, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's brave though.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Courage isn't the absence of fear, but the overcoming of it, or whatever that is.
Yeah, sure.
So he walks upstairs and gets up there, and he's got the guy kind of opens the door, and he's like, no lunch. He's pointing the gun at Gordon, right? And he's got the kid in his hands, and blah blah blah. And Gordon is just like, okay. And then a cat's like, wow. Okay. And then he's like, what? And then Gordon takes that opportunity, boom.
Nice.
And as Johnny Depp would say, cold clocks him. Right?
Nice.
Anyway, so guy's out. Kids are like, oh, he hugs him, blah blah blah, and he's like, I got that. They're afraid, I just can't let them see that I'm just as scared as they are.
No, not when you're an adult. For
exactly.
Sure. Kids need that stability.
Yeah. So we go now to the SWAT guy and Commissioner Loeb, the corrupt police commissioner. And he's like, he embarrassed me in front of my men. He's garbage. I could have gone in there and killed those kids. I don't know what you would defend yourself with, but he didn't say that. But that's I guess what he's saying he could have done is send a SWAT team in, and then all the kids would be dead. Why are you even, what mentality do you have?
Yeah, the job got done. What's your problem?
Yeah.
Right?
But anyway, Commissioner Loeb is like, I agree. I hate him just as much as you do, but he's got the press on his side.
Yeah, sure.
So when that's over, then we can make our move.
All right. They're trying to ruin him then, right?
Or kill him or something.
Sure. I mean, they got to ruin him in the media before they can kill him in real life or whatever.
Yeah, or like at least wait for the 24-hour news cycle to be over. Because
yeah, sure.
the press are in love with Gordon right now.
Sure,
Headlines galore.
Yeah. He's a hero.
We'll go back to Gordon for a second. He's getting a phone call on his telephono. Not cell phone, because it's the 80s.
Is it a turn dial thing?
Why not? I don't know if it is. I can't remember, but probably.
Come on.
So rotary?
Rotary is the word.
Yeah.
I'm part of the Rotary Club here.
You want me to check? Should we take a break?
No.
Okay.
I'm into the story. Well, comment below if you know what a Rotary Club actually is, because I don't think anyone really knows what that is.
Yes. Comment below. So anyway, he gets a phone call, answers the phone, and he goes, "What? Like the video?"
Oh, Jesus.
Come on, I got you with that one.
Sure, man. Sure.
You weren't expecting that one.
Ugh.
You weren't expecting it, and you know it.
You're right. I wasn't expecting it.
Also, what do you mean a giant bat? Right?
Oh, so we're back in the comic.
Yeah, gets a phone call, like the video. Also, there's a giant bat in the city.
Okay.
We cut now to a bunch of teenagers who are stealing various large things from various 80s large things from a home. Whatever you can think of that is larger and 80s, they're carrying it, and they're on a fire escape, and it's from an apartment.
Sure.
Right?
So if it's an 80s cell phone, it's the size of a brick.
Yeah, they're like, hey, hand me that 80s TV. They even say it. That's one of the things. Hand me that 80s TV. Hand me that 80s microwave.
So it's like a big block instead of a flat screen TV today.
Exactly.
You ever carried one of those? They
like,
suck.
oh,
They're
look
heavy.
at those 80s jeans. Make sure you grab those.
Oh my God.
Batman lands on the fire escape from the roof, right?
You mean roof?
Yes, lands on the fire escape from the top of the building. And he's like, cool. He's got the fear, like right off the bat, fear, blah, blah, blah. Kind of doesn't gauge it right. Too much fear for the situation.
They're kids.
They're 20s, maybe
okay,
late teens, maybe early 20s. One of them gets so spooked, he falls off the fire escape.
Oh, no.
Batman grabs him quickly, and the other guys stealing clearly are just garbage people, because instead of being like, oh, he's got our friend, we should, get the friend back up, they're like, let's beat the crap out of this guy or kill him. And if we can do that, the friend will, so Batman's got to fight these kids, these teenagers or 20-some-year-olds, while holding the one guy. He manages to. He knocks them both out, right? And the other guy kind of passes out between the adrenaline, the fear, and the blood to the head. And he pulls him back up, and he's like, leans up against the wall, and he's like, ugh, you got lucky. You're an amateur.
Yeah, he did.
Like, he's just berating himself. Like, dude, you suck. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
That inner dialogue, just beating himself up.
Yeah, exactly. So now we go to a little bit later, and it is a police meeting, where there's like, what do they call that when like there's a...
Yeah, it's called police meeting.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So they're at a police meeting, and there are these posters, like sketches on the wall. One of them is just like a giant bat creature, like bat demon creature.
Yeah, I watched the 90s Batman TV show, Man Bat.
One of them looks like Man Bat.
Yeah.
One of them looks like between a man and a bat, which is more like what Man Bat would look like. And one of them looks closer to what Batman would look like.
Oh, sure.
Right? And they're like, all right, so we got to talk about this vigilante. Who is he? Blah, blah, blah. And there's a new character now. So now there are 7 characters in this comic book. Essen, Detective Essen. She's a hot, blonde detective, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so it's like, okay, cool. Detective Essen is here, and they're talking about who is he? What is this vigilante doing? What's he got going on? And then Flash, who you now see has a full arm cast and neck brace on, is like, not he, it.
What?
And then everyone kind of starts being like, what are you talking about? You're crazy. You're crazy guy, blah, blah, blah. And he goes... And he's like, no, it's not a he, it's an it. And they're like, well, why don't you share with the group? Okay. And then
they give him the talking stick. It's your turn.
Yeah. They're like, yeah, you get to do your thing now. And he's like, okay. So, I mean, you want me to do the whole story in Flash with this voice?
No.
All right. So Flash is like, I was single-handedly apprehending these felons, right?
Sure,
which is basically cuts to him and he's like helping them load cocaine onto a truck and like getting paid to, you know,
what a
be
jerk.
protection or whatever.
Yeah.
And he goes, and all of a sudden, a creature jumps off the roof. It had wings 30 feet across, made of shadow, you know? And it just shows Batman just jumping down, right?
Yeah.
And then he's like, you know, one of the felons, I had apparently slipped a gun somewhere that I had apparently not gotten. And it just shows like a normal guy just like pulling out his gun, shooting. He goes, the bullets pass right through him. And it shows that it goes through the cape.
Sure, it's cloth, right?
Yeah. And he goes, you know, he started shooting, you know, things out of its body, and it's just him throwing batarangs.
Sure.
He had claws, and it's just him beating the crap out of Flash. You know, he leaves Flash for last, right? Because he wants to like, you know, make him afraid.
Yeah, sure.
He should be very scared. I'm very scary. And so he's got him and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, all right, cool. So he tells that story and they're like, great. That's a great lead. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
So that's what Batman's been doing.
So let me just ask a question on this. So he's getting that fear, you know, like imagery. Now, what month is this? Because I know we started in January. Is it like, you know, a couple months in?
I think we're in April now.
Okay. So
or May.
4 or 5 months in.
Yeah, it's
or
April
5, 6
and May.
months in.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So he's getting it. He's starting to get a hang of it. Yeah.
He's creating his brand.
Sure.
Yeah, he's building his brand.
Sure.